Peace. Good, y'all. It's your boy Elijah. Hey, on YouTube. Appreciate appreciate you for tuning in for real. 2026, man. Looking to do things a little differently. As a child, thought like a child. As a man, put away those childish things. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, nah. But yeah, today I'm going to be going over a topic I've been doing some research on for myself. Um, yeah, if you don't know, you will know. But yeah, before we get into the topic, I gotta pay some bills first. Um, Elijah Green, y'all know that's a brand. Um, we got hoodies for the winter, snow cap hoodies. Not currently wearing mine, but yeah, definitely they are available all winter. We are repping my dog day. This is the theme. This is the campaign for the wintertime. So yeah, get your snow caps hoodie. Follow me on Instagram if you don't. If you're not familiar, at the Elijah Green. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into today's topic. Yeah, we're gonna go back to teaching on this thing, learning and teaching, because as you saw, I I know nothing. um, no, not really. Not that I don't know anything, but the point is, there space is infinite. If you don't know, what does that mean? There's an infinite wealth of knowledge for any of us, all of us, to obtain, um, and because of that fact, we, you know, you don't know what you don't know. We're always ignorant of something, so it's just I'm always assuming that I'm not in the know. I try to stay humble and I want to learn um, in order to enrich myself and those around me. So, again, let's get into today's topic, um, the shadow. Unmasking the truth behind your ego, exploring Jungian psychology for the culture. Jungian psychology refers to my man Carl Jung. If you are not familiar with Carl Jung in 2026, um, wow. But yeah, go ahead and get familiar. So, just, personally, for me as of late, going into the world has me feeling like Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. You know what I'm saying? It has me feeling like Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker. You know what I mean? Like I I feel like the Joker as of late, in the sense that you know, anytime I step into society, things seem to kind of blow up. Take that for what you will. Um, but hey, I'm not. This is. I mean, look at the world. I'm not. Look how crazy everything is. So for me to sit around and act like I want to make normal of insanity. Mm, I'd rather not. So I don't necessarily look at, my, I guess, volatilitiness. Um, that's the word, but we're just going to continue on. I don't look at that as a necessarily negative thing. I just, you know, am aware of my state of being and who I am. And due to that, I have just chosen to more so kind of place myself in a space of solitude, um, and not in a sense of, me pushing everyone away and hiding from the world. I'm definitely in the world. I'm just focused on things, focused on my being in solitude, working, reflecting, supporting family, doing a lot, just not looking to, you know, like I said, be in society so much. And just not in a place of doing things for the sake of movement, but I am seeking to elevate self and therefore everything else that I touch, including, the work that I do and what it is that I offer to my community and to those that show support to me. So yeah, let's get into this shadow talk. Ugh. Chapter one: The culture of the mask. Why we hide our deepest traits just to fit in, and what happens when these traits start fighting back. And I'm gonna share my resources at the end. I'll include them in the description as well. So you can see kind of just where I took or gathered some of my conclusions from. Yeah, let's get into the topic. So yeah, the majority of human beings adjust their authentic presentation in social settings due to a combination of evolutionary biology and social psychology um, and cultural necessity. This phenomenon is often referred to as impression management or self-presentation. At its core, this adjustment isn't necessarily about being fake. It is a sophisticated tool for navigating a complex social world. um, we're definitely in a complex social world. The evolutionary survival mechanism, for an evolutionary standpoint, human survival was entirely dependent on group membership. Being cast out from the tribe was often a death sentence. Belonging versus authenticity. Our brains are hardwired to prioritize social acceptance over total self expression. Safety and conformity by mirroring the behaviors of the group. We signal that we are safe, predictable, and cooperative members of the community. Now, you know, this is a segue. Me being a, man of the hue, in this world, I'm sure people can relate to, some things that, we all deal with similar matters. And, for sure, there are levels to this in life, pressures, um, there's different matters. In America, we know what we're dealing with when it comes to equality, um, you know, and how should I say it? Just matters of hmm, respect, should I say. I'm a man in this world, and I move accordingly. And what I mean by that is I move with respect in the sense that um, I seek to give respect. That is always my initial, I'll say, kind of state of being. I'm going to go come into any situation seeking to, come in with respect. At the same time, I don't necessarily ask for what it is that I give. I kind of demand it. Um, yeah, I demand it. I demand what a certain reciprocation um, from those who seek from me. Um, you know, whether that's relationship, friendship, um, companionship. If it's work colleagues, things like that. People want to work with me. I'm not somebody who I'm a more introverted person. If you don't know, you will. Um, and not I love people, but yeah, in this world, you know, reciprocation, and when you're somebody who has things to offer, um, yeah, there are people who will support that, but there are you know a lot of people who seek to take advantage of that as well. So, being someone who has things to offer, you know, the reason for this topic, the shadow, the mask. You create a mask for yourself in order to, somewhat hide all that you are, So let's keep going. Next slide. The persona versus the vault. Persona being the feed. This is your curated self. It's the mask you wear on social media at your 9 to 5 or when you're moving through different spaces. It's safe, it's polished, and it's what society expects from you. Versus the shadow, your vault. The shadow contains everything the persona rejects. It's where you store your deepest anger, your unacceptable desires, and your untapped power. It's the raw, unedited version of you. Hey man, this is something that we all have to do. It doesn't matter who you are. So yeah, the persona, the social mask. The word persona comes from the Latin word for the mask worn by Greek actors. It is the public face you present to the world to fit in, succeed at your job, and follow social rules. Function is act as a protective layer and a social lubricant. It helps you navigate different environments. But the danger, if you start believing your mask is your entire identity, like a doctor who can never stop being a doctor even at home, you lose touch with your true self. That's the persona. Versus the shadow or the vault. Again, the shadow consists of everything about yourself that you have pushed away because it felt wrong, bad, or unacceptable, either by family or society. Its function is to serve as a reservoir for repressed traits like anger, selfishness, or wildness, but also for golden traits like creativity or passion that you were taught to suppress. The danger, when ignored, the shadow doesn't disappear, it leaks out. This often happens through projection, where you strongly dislike a trait in someone else because it is actually a hidden part of your own shadow. Of course, the perception and shadow work together and utilize it. That's just, me, the persona versus the shadow. Let's just say in making a living in this world, I've I've made a living um, you know, different aspects, different ways. Say the underworld way and the daytime, the 9 to 5 way. I've worked downtown, you know, wearing a tie and a button up shirt. We're going downtown. I've had my own office, uh, leading or running a sales department of important law firm. Elijah Green. I've got my name off of being a gas man in Washington D.C. um, I say that to be like, you know, I created, going from working in the corporate world, created a persona for myself, working amongst people who, weren't from the community that I grew up in, working amongst people who were trans, other places from different backgrounds, being in, offices of, you know, white people, being one of the only black people in office, moving and shaking in those kind of rooms where, people have an issue with how you talk, um, but maybe passive aggressive in how they interact if you want to say certain things to you, but will try and show their power or strength in different ways versus, being outside, waking up, going outside, being, basically in the streets all day, pounding pavement around people that, for the most part, look like you, come from a culture, they sound like you, talk like you. Uh, that doesn't mean they're like you. Everybody different. Everybody dealing with different things, and there are good people and bad people in all aspects of life for sure. That's for sure. But you know, creating, you're just talking about, having different personas for what it is you do, and you know, working a 9 to 5, the the shadow that creates versus, me being in spaces amongst people that don't look like me versus, me working in environments where, you know every I run stuff. Everything goes off of my word and what I say, and I make things shake, and my word holds a different type of power here. Hey, that all plays into, how you move, the repressed feelings, that come from just your day to day life, the decision that you make, the stresses of everything. You know, real stuff, man. Real stuff. um, yeah, let's get back to it. So yeah, making sure we check the mirror, as we spoke of. When the when the shadow is repressed, and you know you aren't conducting the proper shadow work, should we say? Um, your shadow leaks out, a number of different ways through projection, things like that. Um, Projection. What is it? If you see someone moving in a way that makes you irrationally mad, they are likely a mirror. You're projecting a repressed part of your own shadow onto them. Um, You ever seen somebody on Instagram just showing off flexing and just been upset because, you ain't had no money in your pocket and you trying to figure out what you about to eat tonight and you really don't know? That ain't homie's fault that he got it. Maybe you need to figure out how to get it yourself. Stop projecting your shadow on other people. Trust me, I've done it. I've been guilty. I ain't blaming nobody. The gossip trap. When we cancel others for traits we secretly possess but won't admit to, we are simply trying to distract ourselves from our own inner darkness. Ugh. I don't hang with no men that talk about other men. The only reason you should be bringing up another man's name is, we are about to work with him on a project, or you're telling me, you. I don't mind you bigging up another person. You be proud of the work somebody's doing. You can do that. That's cool. But you know, I really don't need to know what other people are doing. People always want to run to me and tell me what's going on. I really don't care. The hook. Our projections only stick when there is a hook, a small reality in others that reflects the giant hidden reality inside of us. That sounds like a beautiful thing, to be honest. Everybody, the whole world is a reflection of really what's going on in your internal world. I hope y'all are paying, if you're still people, if you're this far into the video, I'm pretty sure you are into the fact that you have that internal world. I'm proud of you for that. Reclaiming your gold. Please do this for yourself, not for me, but for yourself. Not everything in the shadow is dark. We often bury our golden shadow. Your creativity, leadership, and vision we were told were too much. Reclaiming this gold means stepping into your true power. It's about being whole, not just being good according to someone else's standards. Yeah. Something that, I am doing currently, continue to do, have done previously, shadow work. It unlocks so much for you. Um, just to mention the golden shadow reclaiming. All right, more information on what the golden shadow. Reclaiming talent. The shadow isn't just a dumpster for bad habits, it's also a treasure chest for gold that you were taught to hide. Repressed brilliance. If you were told as a child that being too loud is bad, you might have pushed your natural leadership or public speaking skills into the shadow. The benefit is integrating this golden shadow allows you to reclaim your confidence, creativity, and hidden talents that you previously felt unworthy of using. Radical self compassion. When you acknowledge that you have the capacity for anger, selfishness, or greed, you stop being shocked by your own humanity. The benefit you move from self shaming, which causes anxiety, to self understanding. By accepting your messy parts, you develop a deep, stable sense of peace. You no longer need to exhaust yourself pretending to be a saint. Vitality and life force. Repression takes a massive amount of psychic energy. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater 24/7. The benefit when you stop fighting a shadow, that beach ball pops up. You suddenly have energy, spontaneity, and drive because you aren't using all your mental strength to keep yourself hidden. Ah, man, yeah. No, this is all true. So true. I mentioned, I've lived the normal way. I've lived the underworld way. uh, I'd say I'm in a place of seeking to integrate both worlds and make them one. But yeah, I say that just to mention. I remember when I started, you know, Elijah Green. Um, After working and going from the corporate space, I knew that I was exhausting myself. Um, you know, I was, working in the tech space. I worked in sales, so technology. Um, that was shoot. That ended in 2020. I said I was done with that. I mean, we can kind of see where things are going, and with AI and people losing their job and all this type of stuff. I luckily missed the bandwagon on that, and just chose to create something for myself. But going from just feeling exhausted, feeling as though I was, putting all of my energy into something that wasn't, I was supposedly making a good money or whatever, but just wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't seeing any reward. The money wasn't even mine for real. Let's be honest. But I changed avenues. I created something for myself, and I had so much life force. I had so much energy to place into this new field, this new passion, and I did. I placed all of that energy into what I was doing for myself, and I created so many opportunities. It led to so many relationships that I still utilize to this day. Um, yeah, uh, man. Oh crap! I wasn't even on the reclaim your gold slide. This is the slide I was speaking to for the last 10 minutes. Apologies. When the shadow leaks. Uh, the shadow leaks, the slip's sudden outbursts of rage or irrational jealousy that seem to come from nowhere. The burnout, the exhaustion of maintaining a perfect persona that doesn't align with your soul. Self yourself up to fail because your shadow feels your success doesn't belong to the real you. Scapegoating, pointing fingers at the ops instead of looking at how your energy attracts conflict. Said at the beginning of this presentation that I've been in spaces as of late. As I mentioned, I'm aware of my current state of being and doing the work to shift that energy, to make changes. So when the time comes, I'll be ready to integrate without seeking to blow everything up. Packing the weight. Yeah, this is a Robert Bly, another Carl Jung enthusiast, had the idea, the bag metaphor, um, of his books. Hopefully, I sourced it. I forgot the name of it at this very moment. But yeah, the bag metaphor. As we grow up, we stuff our rejected traits into a long bag we drag behind us. For many of us in the city, that bag is heavy with trauma, repressed ambition, and the tough exterior we have to build to survive. Shadow work is a process of unzipping that bag and integrating these parts back into our identity so we can move lighter. Hey man, Rubber Bly. Maybe you knew a thing or two. Peep the message, not the messenger. The path to wholeness. Admitting I am also that. Sing the shadow and your triggers. Yeah, I am also that. I am good. I am also, you know, yeah, I ain't always good. I'm everything, you know. I know that about myself. It's the path to wholeness. Once you can accept these things, I just said that, accept stopping the war with your inner darkness and flaws. Once you can see that you have, inner darkness or flaws, it's not for you to sit here and pout. For you to, step up, be an adult. Integrate. Integration, using shadow energy for fuel, reclaiming lost talents. Once you start doing shadow work, once you start finding out these things about yourself that you have repressed, I promise you these things turn into power. Individuation, becoming the whole authentic version of yourself. Man, like I said, these things turn into power. That anger that you were dealing with, that's lack of energy you just don't have, and once you find out why anymore, dang it, you become the main character again. Total self integration. When you stop hiding your shadow, you stop wasting energy on the act. Gain access to 100% of your power, creativity, and presence. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being complete. That's true main character energy. Becoming the main character of your life isn't about being on the center of attention or becoming ego maniac. In psychology, it's about agency, moving from being a passive passenger or an extra, like in a TV show, to the person holding the steering wheel, the protagonist, or the main character. Reclaiming your agency, the internal shift. The main character makes choices, supporting characters react to the main character's choices. The extra mindset. If I have to do this because my boss, parent, or society expects it, even my girl. Main character mindset. I'm choosing because how it aligns with my goals, even if it's difficult. The action is small. Instead of saying I can't, say how can I. This will shift your from a state of victimhood to a state of problem solving. Main character stuff right there. Take off the mask. Align your persona and self. Make sure you're establishing high definition boundaries. Use no like it's a damn muscle. You know what I'm saying? Say no. Romanticize dang, man. Fall in love with, taking a walk, making a cup of tea. It's the small things. Calling your mother. Fall in love with those things, man. Love those things. Saying good morning to your girl. Mm, love those things. Your daily ritual of respect. You know, buy the good coffee. Play the soundtrack that makes you feel powerful while you clean. Dress in a way that makes you feel like the person you want to be. When you value your own life, others begin to value it too. Yeah, people are gonna value my life. At the same time, forget it, people. Your journey begins and keep it 100. What's in your vault that needs to come out? Yeah, man. Shadow work. You know, one thing I'll say: start journaling, start writing stuff down, man. Just like keep a notebook. Start writing. If you're a man, like I know this is it ain't always a normal thing to do, but like start writing. Start writing what you're going through. Start writing your mind state, how you feel. Start writing. It's important, man. Start writing. Get stuff out your head. It's too much. Like I know I got too much stuff going on in my head. I have to write. Otherwise, I mean, I'm already crazy. I write. I still go crazy. But you gotta write. It only helps. It only helps. Start journaling. Start writing. Start doing shadow work, man. Start being you. Start loving yourself. If you aren't already, if you are, keep doing that. Hey, man. That's all I got right now. Peace and love. I'm gonna catch you next time. Peace.